It is July. Somebody is cutting corn in a hollow on the east side of the ridge. A timber rattlesnake, coiled in the shade of a stalk, connects with an ankle. The man goes down. Two neighbors carry him to the cabin. Before anyone thinks about what to do next, somebody goes for the jug. That is just what you did. Everybody knew it. Nobody questioned it. My name is Gideon Adkins, born outside Harlan, Kentucky. What I am about to tell you is not a story about backward mountain people who did not know better. The whiskey treatment for snakebite was not a holler superstition. It was in the U.S. pharmacopoeia. Physicians prescribed it. It appeared in mainstream medical texts. The mountain and the medical school were reading from the same page. What it did to the man who drank it is the part nobody told either of them. Two snakes. Matter in these mountains. The timber rattlesnake and the copperhead. The timber rattlesnake runs the full Appalachian chain from northern Georgia to southern New York. Its venom is primarily hemotoxic. It destroys red blood cells, disrupts the blood's ability to clot, and degrades tissue. Some populations in the southern range carry a neurotoxic component as well. Historical estimates put untreated fatality at 10 to 30%, depending on bite location, venom load, and the size of the person. The copperhead bites far more people. It kills almost none of them. Less than 1% fatality in healthy adults. That distinction matters for what follows. Most bites in these mountains were copperhead bites. Most people lived. Whatever they had done was credited with saving them. The snake that actually killed people bit less often. Both species are still on this land. I still walk wide on the south slope. The instruction was a pint or more. Drink until you feel it. The more, the better. That was not passed down from a grandmother in a holler. It was in the U.S. pharmacopoeia. Physicians on the American frontier prescribed it routinely. It appeared in mainstream medical texts through the late 19th century. The reasoning sounded logical. Whiskey was believed to be a stimulant. The thinking was that a stimulant could counteract the depressive effect venom had on the nervous system. That mechanism was wrong in every direction, but it was plausible enough to survive, and plausible is what travels when better information is not available. One man pushed back early. A Philadelphia neurologist named S. Weir Mitchell conducted systematic research on rattlesnake venom beginning in the 1860s. He argued explicitly against the whiskey treatment based on controlled experiments. His work was serious. It was published. It did not reach a cabin in a Kentucky hollow. The distance between a research monograph in Philadelphia and a ridge community with no road and no doctor was not metaphorical. It was measured in days of travel and years of delay. The granny women passed on what they had been taught. What they had been taught came partly from the same medical establishment that later condemned it. The claim in this title is a medical argument, not a body count. What exists is the mechanism. The mechanism is enough. 5 things happen when you give alcohol to a hemotoxic snakebite victim. Every one of them moves in the wrong direction. First, vasodilation. Alcohol causes blood vessels to expand. Rattlesnake venom was already working to spread through the bloodstream. The whiskey opened the road. A bite that might have stayed localized was driven systemic faster than it would have traveled alone. Second, anticoagulation. Rattlesnake venom disrupts clotting, disseminated intravascular coagulation. Alcohol inhibits platelet function on top of it. The blood was already failing to clot. The whiskey made it worse. The wound that would not close could not close. Third, symptom masking. Alcohol impairs pain perception. The man felt better after drinking and interpreted this as the treatment working. He did not know that feeling better was the most dangerous thing that could happen. It delayed evacuation. It created confidence in a treatment that was accelerating the damage. This is the mechanism that cost the most lives. Fourth, aspiration risk. Envenomation causes shock. Alcohol given to a person already in shock, with a compromised gag reflex, creates an aspiration risk on top of everything else. Fifth, dehydration. Alcohol is a diuretic. Snakebite victims already face fluid shifts. Added fluid loss. Worsened what was already unstable. Every pharmacological effect of alcohol acts in the wrong direction for a hemotoxic snakebite. Not some of them. All of them. The man who drank from the jug and felt better was not being saved. He was given a reason to stay still. The whiskey was not the only wrong answer. It had company. Cut and suck. Depicted in popular media as the correct response to snakebite for most of American film history. Studies consistently show it removes under 1% of the injected venom. It wastes time, introduces oral bacteria into already destroyed tissue, and can spread venom through any cut in the rescuer's mouth. The American Red Cross removed it from first aid guidelines in 2002. Tourniquets. Applied to stop the venom from spreading. What they actually do is concentrate hemotoxic venom in a defined tissue zone and dramatically worsen local destruction. Amputations have resulted from tourniquet application after snakebite. Snake stones. Porous stone or burned bone applied to draw out the venom. No mechanism. No efficacy. Practiced in these communities into the early 20th century. Electric shock. A 1980s myth that current from a stun gun could neutralize venom proteins. Briefly published. Fully debunked. Documented electrical burns added on top of snakebite wounds. Every one of these felt like doing something. Doing something feels better than doing nothing. In snakebite, the wrong something killed people. The question is not why mountain people believed it. The question is why it lasted here longer than elsewhere. Eastern Kentucky, southwestern Virginia, and western North Carolina had among the lowest physician-to-population ratios in the country through the 1930s. A serious snakebite in a ridge hollow with no road and no vehicle meant the treatment decision was made at home, by whoever was there, with whatever was on hand. Whiskey was on hand. In virtually every Appalachian household, in a way a physician almost never was. The belief was reinforced not just by tradition but by simple availability. The jug was there. The doctor was not. Timber rattlesnakes and copperheads bite most often in late summer and early fall, during the harvest. The people most at risk were working barefoot in cornfields and root-digging hollows exactly when snake activity peaked. And the copperhead kept confirming the lie. Low fatality, high encounter rate. The man recovered. The jug got the credit. The snake was never going to kill him anyway. Clara's family in Bell County and the Adkins side of the ridge carried the same list of remedies. When Gideon compared them, they matched exactly. That is how far it had traveled and how deep it had settled. Not all of the old knowledge pointed the wrong direction. Keep the victim calm and still. Correct. Movement accelerates venom spread through the lymphatic system. Every modern protocol says the same. They got there by watching what happened to still patients versus panicked ones. Remove rings and tight clothing from the bitten limb. Correct. Hemotoxic venom causes rapid, severe swelling. Constriction turns a manageable wound into a circulation emergency. Do not apply ice. This one surprises people. Many communities in these mountains knew ice was wrong before mainstream medicine condemned it. Ice concentrates venom, causes additional tissue damage, and masks the wound's progression. The folk knowledge here was ahead of common practice in many American cities through the mid-20th century. Ruth knew to keep a bitten person lying down and quiet. She did not explain why. The why has since been confirmed in every emergency medicine text. She was right. Albert Calmette developed the first effective snake antivenom at the Pasteur Institute in France in 1895. That is the year the answer existed. Wyeth Laboratories produced the first commercially available antivenom for North American pit vipers in 1954. That is the year the answer arrived in a form someone could actually administer in an American hospital. 59 years between those two dates. The gap between Calmette's laboratory and a hollow in eastern Kentucky was longer than that. Modern antivenoms have reduced snakebite fatality in the United States to approximately 5 deaths per year. 5. With treatment available. Before that, a timber rattlesnake bite with an untreated fatality rate of 10 to 30% was being managed with a substance that worsened every mechanism of the venom. I was born in 1955, 1 year after the antivenom reached the market. Earl would have been a young man when the real answer finally existed somewhere a person could reach it. The man in the cornfield was not a fool. He did what everyone around him said was right, based on what those people had been told. The whiskey treatment came through granny women and physicians and almanacs and 200 years of survivors who credited the jug. Wrong in every direction. Nobody knew until science caught up. The lesson is not that old knowledge fails. It is that knowledge carrying authority and survivor testimony can fail in ways invisible until you understand the mechanism. The mountains got things right that medicine took decades to confirm. They got this one wrong alongside the best doctors of the era. Tell me in the comments what snakebite treatments your family passed down, what county you are in. I read everyone. The next video. 7 Appalachian practices the government made illegal. Some for good reason, some not. I will see you there.